Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing another Will I Buy It video. The video on my YouTube channel that goes up every single Sunday, and this video is inspired of course by Samantha March's video series of the same name. And basically the concept of this entire video series sort of thing is you sit down and you talk about the past week's makeup releases and whether or not you want them and why. It's loads of fun. I'm going to start off with this launch right here from the brand Red Earth Beauty. They're launching 4 new lipsticks and they're called the Crystal Baby Lipsticks. This is described as a velvety powder matte lipstick that creates a veil of opaque color on the lips and has a pigmented and lightweight formula, and the price is going to be $21 for each of these 4 shades. Now they have some reds and they also have some like dark mauve-y kind of pink colors in here, so this does look like an interesting launch. I will say that even though I do like a lipstick format, I like a lip color. For some reason, we've been seeing so many lip launches recently. Is it just me? Is it just my imagination? But I feel like we've been seeing a lot of lip launches. So as a result, I'm kind of like the opinion that all I need in life are like a few lipsticks. I don't need a ton of lipsticks. And when you have so many lip launches coming out, you start getting a little bit bored. Am I the only one? Probably. Am I pessimistic? Definitely. But that's just my opinion. The packaging reminds me very much of the Kylie Cosmetics debacle. That entertaining failure of a makeup brand. So that's kind of triggering me. Now next up we have a few color correctors launching from Charlotte Tilbury. Now Charlotte Tilbury is a luxury makeup brand, and in my personal opinion, they're not always consistent with bringing out really great shade ranges, but I feel like this is an exception in the sense that they do have 2 options for deeper skin tones. But then at the same time, I feel like this is like an okay shade range. So shade range is okay, in my opinion. It's not the best. It would have been nice to see like a range as opposed to 2 light shades and 2 dark shades, but I digress. I just feel like correctors in my mind are great if you're like a working makeup artist, and that's pretty much it. I feel like for the everyday consumer, correctors are kind of like something that you see on Instagram used terribly, and you can't necessarily use correctors in your everyday life unless you have like a ton of time in the morning. But yeah, correctors are great for makeup artists, but then as somebody who is not necessarily a working makeup artist at all, I don't necessarily look at this launch and think, oh my gosh, this is amazing, this is beautiful, I want this so badly. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm biased, but that's just how it is. Speaking of Charlotte Tilbury and their typically lackluster shade range, they have an airbrush flawless foundation that's supposed to be long wearing, weightless, full coverage, poreless, natural looking with a matte finish. And this is an example of Charlotte Tilbury launching 44 shades of foundation, and it kind of looks like it's going from light to medium, and that's it. And I mean, it's just, I feel like there's so many shades in here that you could have had a range of shades, but essentially you have like a ton of light and medium shades, but only a few deep shades. And most of these shades are not even that deep. So it's kind of like, what are you doing? You know? And I feel like, again, this is my biased makeup preferences speaking right here, because you guys know that I'm generally somebody that likes a very minimal coverage, if at all, when it comes to face makeup. But haven't we already seen like every single flawless foundation there is on the market? Like, haven't we already seen that? But then again, Charlotte Tilbury, I don't really think that they have a matte flawless foundation, so I don't know, maybe maybe that's what they're trying to do, but I'm bored. Moving on, let's talk about ColourPop, the brand that launches a new thing every single week, and they still manage to be relatively amazing. So, ColourPop has a lip crayon, and you can basically get them for $7 individually, and then they have bundles for $12. So they have all these different shades, and I will say, looking at the shades, I'm kind of into it. I do like the idea of having a lip product that is in a glossy format, but also happens to be in a jumbo pencil format as well. And yes, I know I said literally 2 minutes ago that I wasn't necessarily interested in lip launches, but I mean, this is a lip crayon and it's in a glossy format, so I am intrigued. I will say though, I probably should say this in every single Will I Buy It video, but I am on a no buy, so I can't buy makeup. But I feel like if I wasn't on my no buy, I probably would get this, but I'm not getting it because I'm on my no buy. And do I need a new lip product? Not necessarily, but it's a fun launch, in my personal opinion. Is it groundbreaking? No, but then again, ColourPop launches something new every single week, so there's that. They can't be amazing all the time. Now, Lady Gaga, one of my favorite pop icons of all time, is launching House Laboratories, which is going to be a makeup line. And she basically has announced that apparently this makeup line will include a whole bunch of different products. It is launching in September, so I'm kind of curious as to why they're like announcing it now if they're launching it in September. I mean, the pre-order starts this week, but you're gonna get the makeup in September, and it's kind of like 2 months away, so I don't know why they're announcing it now. But let's talk about the makeup. So far they have shown us that they are going to be, so far they have shown us 3 different items. They have a lip liner, a lip gloss, and a Glam Attack liquid shimmer powder that looks very similar to the Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadows. And it does appear that the products are going to be launched in kits. It is not necessarily clear as to whether or not you'll be able to buy products individually, but apparently they are going to be divided into kits. Since this is such a really high profile launch and everybody has an opinion, I feel like it would be appropriate to share with you guys my thoughts on Lady Gaga launching a makeup line in general. I personally think that if there is any celebrity that should be launching a makeup line, Lady Gaga is definitely one of those celebrities. I feel like in the last few years, we have all collectively grown a great deal more aware of the fact that so much of what we are being presented with has been photoshopped, has been perfected, has been edited, and I am so happy to see a brand like House Laboratories, because Lady Gaga, straight off the bat, is presenting House Laboratories as a brand that is not necessarily like other brands. And let me elaborate on this. And I know that maybe I'm just overthinking this, but I definitely feel like looking at the promotional images for this brand that we've been seeing so far, all these makeup looks are so avant-garde and so imperfect and so real looking. You can see, if you zoom into the images, that there hasn't necessarily been a lot of editing or photoshopping done to these images. And it's refreshing to see that, because if you look at so many different other brands, like brands that have been launched by celebrities and even brands that have been around for a very long time, most of their advertising shots are very perfect, have been very photoshopped, and everything looks super professional and super perfect and super flawless. But I like how Lady Gaga is launching her brand, and these shots, they don't look that edited. I mean, if you zoom in, the makeup doesn't look perfect. The makeup doesn't look perfectly blended. It doesn't look perfectly flawless. It looks real, and it looks raw, and it looks tangible. I will say that I am definitely as of now, much more interested in the brand's message than I am in the actual products that we're seeing so far, because besides like the liquid eyeshadow, there's really nothing that I like absolutely want from this brand so far. But I really want to touch on the fact that this brand so far, I mean, they're starting off and they're launching with a marketing campaign that is so different and so refreshing. It makes me want to see more of what House Laboratories can produce. And I think I'll definitely be purchasing from this brand in the future because I love Lady Gaga and I absolutely love like this new and fresh approach to makeup that this brand seems to be just utilizing, and I absolutely love that. And then, ironically, we're now going to be talking about Kylie Cosmetics. Oh my gosh. Okay, see, like Kylie Cosmetics is just like an example of a brand that is so different from House Laboratories if you look at the marketing, because like everything that Kylie Cosmetics does is so like just perfect when you look at the marketing. And yeah, that's just an interesting thing to see after House Laboratories. But Kylie Cosmetics is launching a summer 2019 collection. They have some lip stuff, they have some eyeshadow stuff, they have some face stuff, and it's all like very seashell summer themed, very sandy kind of themed. Lots of colors that I like, but lots of colors that I don't like. I kind of do like those like creamy glittery eye glazes that they have, but that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, there's not much in this collection that I'm like totally fascinated by. It's just Kylie Cosmetics launching yet another collection that is probably going to be hyped about for like literally 2 seconds until the next thing comes, and I'm just not into it. I feel like Kylie Cosmetics is like the Forever 21 of the beauty industry because everybody really likes them, but they just like their products have a very short shelf life. And I'm not talking about the physical shelf life. I'm just talking about the shelf life of interest. People are like really fascinated with Kylie Cosmetics and certain products that they launch, but then the interest just disappears. So, yeah. Milani is coming out with 3 different eye and face palettes that are basically going to be called the Gilded palettes. Each and every one of these palettes has a specific color theme. You have a violet theme, you have like a warm tone neutral theme, and then you have a green theme. I will say that I like seeing this like color theme. I like seeing this edited version of palettes. It's really nice and refreshing to see more monochromatic palettes because I feel like it's much more interesting than say a rainbow palette that we see way too many times and just gets a little bit boring. I do feel like Milani's customer base is not necessarily a customer base that is in love with like a whole bunch of color, with a whole bunch of pizzazz. Milani's customer, in my mind, is somebody who is very classic, but still somebody who does like to push things a little bit when it comes to color and finishes and just makeup in general. Sorry, the light is changing so much in this video. It is so annoying. Please forgive me. But I will say that, is this a launch that I would buy? No, because I already, like, I could dupe pretty much each and every single shade in every one of these palettes. And I will say that as somebody who is absolutely obsessed with color, there isn't necessarily much in here that I can't either dupe or that I absolutely need. My favorite palette is definitely the green one, but I'm looking at the green palette and there's really not much in here that I don't already own. So this is going to be a pass. These are available for $20 each. I don't know about that price. I feel like since Milani's a drugstore brand, it would be nice to see something that's a little bit more of a drugstore price for eyeshadow palettes, because $20 is stretching it a little bit in my personal opinion. But if the formula is amazing, then I think it's worth it. If the formula is subpar and they're selling this for $20, not worth it. So there's this brand called Love Happy Mess, and they're launching 3 new liquid lipsticks for $9 each. Not a bad price. I like the packaging. It looks kind of cool. The shades look pretty decent, but do I want a new liquid lipstick? No, I do not. So this is going to be a pass. All right, we have a new launch from KKW Beauty. She is launching a Fire, that's the name of it, collection. This collection will include an eyeshadow palette, eyeliner, and lip gloss. It looks very warm toned. That's pretty much it. I mean, like, there's not much in here that's that, like, amazing. Like, this is just typical Kardashian style makeup. They come up with a theme. They come up with products that fit the theme, and then they launch it. And it's nothing revolutionary. It's nothing that interesting. It's just the Kardashians. And I know I'm roasting the Kardashian Jenners in this video. They're fine. They have $1 million bajillion dollars. They're good. Their life is not going to be terrible just because I'm roasting them. But like, I feel that everything that they launch is just a little too late in the game. And don't get me wrong, I love my KKW Beauty and Mario palette. It's amazing. The formula is great. If that's a consistent formula throughout their entire eyeshadow palette selection, that's fantastic. But this color scheme reminds me very much of the Morphe 350. And I'm not talking about just the eyeshadow palette, I'm talking about the entire collection. The entire collection reminds me of the warm tone craze that was going on years ago and that nobody's interested in right now. Like, this ship has sailed. Like, and I understand that Kim Kardashian is not somebody that just experiments a lot with makeup. She is pretty basic. She has her own basic style, and that works for her. But does it work for me? No. So I'm going to critique it. Natasha Nona is launching a mini Tropic limited edition palette. This is going to be $25, and it's part of their summer 2019 selection, and they have 5 different colors in here. Now, I will say that I don't necessarily hear a lot of like rave reviews on these mini eyeshadow palettes from Natasha Nona. I've heard reports that the formula of these mini palettes is quite different compared to the formula of the larger palettes. I don't know. I haven't tried the palettes myself, so I can't necessarily confirm or deny that. But I will say that Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner has picked this palette up, and I don't believe that she's tried it just yet, but maybe by the time this video comes out, she will have already tried it. So go on her Instagram or go on her YouTube channel, and she probably has already talked about this. But I will say that I like the color scheme. That's all I can say. I like the color scheme. I don't know about the quality. I don't know. If I was not on my no-buy, I would consider getting this. I'd probably want to go into Sephora and just swatch it and see how it goes. But yeah, I don't really have much to say, except I absolutely love the color scheme, but I have no idea about the quality. Okay, so I remember when I did my redesigned version of the new ColourPop Yellow palette, a bunch of you guys told me that my design looked kind of similar to this right here, which is from Midas Cosmetics, and this is called their Lemonade palette. I love this. Like, this is such a cool and fun yellow palette. I would love to try it. I can't because I'm on my no-buy, but then again, I'd love to try it because it's such a beautiful color scheme and it really looks like a lot of fun. You have a lot of metallics in here, you have some mattes, and you have like a lot of like really beautiful sunshine yellow colors, but then you have like a little bit of a grungier color aesthetic as well. So I would love to try this. But anyway, moving on, let's talk about these 3 palettes from Moira Cosmetics. These are called the Fairy Tale palettes, and they're available now for $16 each. Quite a fair price if I do say so myself. I will say that the palette that really piques my interest is definitely the one at the very top. I feel like the middle one is just a little bit boring, and then the one below it, it looks too much like a rainbow palette for me to actually be interested in it. But the top one is like kind of like this muted color palette of colorful shades that I kind of like. I don't necessarily have a color story that is similar to this palette, so that's kind of the appeal that it has for me. Kylie Skin is launching new skincare. Oh my goodness. This is basically for summer 2019, and it includes a coconut body lotion, a coconut body scrub, and a broad spectrum SPF 30 body oil. I do not necessarily know too much about skincare. However, I want to know, is it a good idea to put SPF 30 in a body oil? Because oil and SPF, I don't know how those mix. Like, I don't know. Doesn't oil make your skin fry? And isn't SPF supposed to prevent that? And if you have an SPF in an oil, how does that work? I want to know. Maybe I'm just ignorant, but I don't know how that works. I don't really want to be putting oil on my body for SPF. You know what I mean? So I'm confused. I'm really confused. Oh, I do want to talk about this launch from Makeup Revolution. They're coming out with a So Tasty and Fruity collection. They basically have some eyeshadow palettes, and then they have some compacts as well. So they have an avocado, pizza, and chili themed palette, and then they also have a fruity highlighter banana highlighter, and a fruity pineapple highlighter, and then a fruity strawberry blush, and a fruity peach blush. Now, I did see a lot of comments talking about how this launch is very similar to what Glamlight has been doing with their food-themed launches. And here's my thing. I think that the launch that Makeup Revolution is doing and the launch that Glamlight has been doing, these are very different launches. Same concept and same theme, but different launches. So I don't think that they necessarily should be like blasted for copying Glamlight when they literally just took the same theme and interpreted it differently. And it's not the first time that a big brand has done something kind of similar to what indie brands have done. And there's a difference between doing something that's similar and straight up copying, and I do not think that this is an example of copying. I will say that I am really interested in the look of these eyeshadow palettes, specifically the avocado one. The packaging on all 3 of them is just stellar. I will say that. I will say though that I've tried one Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palette and it was seriously awful. And I look at this and I'm kind of like, I love the color scheme, I love the theme, I love the packaging, but are the eyeshadows good? I hope so. Hopefully. Because if the eyeshadows are terrible, then this is like a really sad collection because the entire aesthetic of this collection looks so beautiful, and I hope that the eyeshadows hold up. And then, of course, they do have the blushes and the highlighters. I have tried Makeup Revolution blush, and I liked it a lot. I don't think I've tried highlighters from the brand. But anyway, this is a really cute collection, and I really do like it. The eyeshadow palettes are going to be $15 each, and then the compacts are going to be $7 each. And why is my lighting changing so much in this video? I'm so sorry. This is awful. But moving on, let's talk about a launch that is going to be very, very hyped up about, I think. Stacey Marie MUA is doing another collaboration. her second one with Be Perfect Cosmetics. Now, the first one was met with a great deal of applause from, I think, anybody who tried the palette. But this is basically that palette, but in my mind, bigger. And I will say that the quality so far does look good. And a whole bunch of people were obsessed with the quality of the first collaboration. So I see no reason why the quality would go down. But this is a huge palette. And I don't know, like, I mean, looking at this, I like the shades, but I'm just really overwhelmed. It would have been nice if they had basically taken the palette and broken it up into like more condensed mini palettes because you have so much product in here. Like, I do know that it would have been fun if they had been breaking this up into like a warm toned palette, into a plum palette, into a greenish bluish cool tone palette, and then finish it off with like a cool toned neutral brownish grayish palette as well. Because if you look at this palette, you can break it up. Like, there are literally sections of different colors within this palette, so there are ways to break this palette up, in my personal opinion, and maybe do like a separate face palette. But I feel that this entire collection is so big, it's kind of overwhelming. And it would have been nice to break it up because I feel like then you'd be able to get the colors that you need and really want, as opposed to having like this huge giant palette and not necessarily using all the colors. Because I do know that if I was buying this palette, I would definitely not use the neutral colors. I would love to use all the fun, vibrant, colorful shades, but I wouldn't be using the neutral colors. And I do know that there are people who would love to use those neutral colors and maybe like the warm red orange colors, but maybe might not want to use the other shades, you know? So there are ways to break this up, but I just feel like this entire palette, it's a little bit overwhelming. Okay, so this next launch, I don't know what to think about this, because this is a launch that Ulta Beauty is doing. They're launching they're launching a collection that is based on Frida Kahlo, who was one of the most amazing artists that ever lived in the 20th century. Just point blank period. She was amazing, and they're launching a collection with a whole bunch of products that is based off of her. Now, I think that if anybody can do any research on Frida Kahlo, you could probably just discern that she wasn't necessarily the type of person that would have enjoyed having a makeup collection with her face and her image plastered all over it. So I feel that this is not something that Ulta Beauty should be launching, because, I mean, Frida Kahlo was somebody who was definitely not necessarily somebody who was into capitalism. She was a communist from what I have read, and I don't think that if she was alive, I don't think that she would have wanted this collection to be launched, especially since it does look like they're literally trying to use her image and her legacy to make money. And I don't like that. I mean, this palette looks decent, but it doesn't necessarily make me think of Frida Kahlo's paintings. You know, like, I just feel like this collection is not necessarily one that I like, because I feel like it's just done in really bad taste. And maybe they did not mean to do that, but it just looks like a money grabbing scheme. And as somebody who has done minimal research on Frida Kahlo, it definitely doesn't fit her message and who she was, in my personal opinion. And I'm not even like a big Frida Kahlo fan. I appreciate her as an artist, but I don't even do, like, I haven't even done that much research into her, and even I know that she was probably, like, not somebody who would have wanted this launched, and I just don't like it. So anyway, I do really want to talk about this new launch from Lisa Eldridge. She is coming out, sorry, the lighting just got really bright. She is coming out with basically 4 different lipsticks in a variety of finishes. She has like a very sheer kind of glossy finish, and then she has some really saturated, really just like pigmented versions as well. So I saw her launch video and I was so obsessed with the 2 shades that are really saturated and really bright and like just really like just vivid. I love those 2 shades, and I believe those 2 shades are Rainbow Spill and Skyscraper Rose. They're really bright, they're really just like intense, and I love them. I would love to buy them because I mean, just they look so beautiful, and I love Lisa Eldridge. So these are going to be £26 each, so a little bit up there in price. That's a luxury price in my personal opinion. But then again, if you look at the packaging and if you look at Lisa Eldridge's like just launch video, you will see that this is a luxury kind of product, and the quality does appear to be absolutely amazing. So I would love to get this. I can't, but I'd love to. So that is pretty much where I'm going to finish this video off. Those are all the makeup products I wanted to talk about for this week. We had some interesting things, and then we also had some not interesting things as well. So a pretty good balance for this week in my personal opinion. But let me know what you thought of these launches down below. Did you agree with my opinion? Did you not? Give me your thoughts and I'll get back to you. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it interesting, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye guys.